Hello everybody, Chris here, otherwise known as CFRacing, and today everybody, this is a requested video that you guys wanted me to do, and this video basically is me showing you guys how to simulate F1 2022. This is on PC, but the same stuff applies for Xbox or PlayStation or whatever the heck you guys are playing on. So the first things first, we're just gonna get into a just regular my team here. It doesn't matter if it's a driver or my team, but I'll just do a my team because that is the more popular game mode. And also I will show you guys how to get good driver transfers in this video, along with how to do some other things that you guys probably don't know about. So in some of my simulations, I start off with like a legacy driver, and that's because I select most of my teams as a midfield challenger, or I've never done this yet, but you can also become a championship contender. But the way I sign these drivers is that when you start off as a midfield team, you get $5 million just straight off the bat, and you are a claim level 6 compared to a newcomer where you get absolutely nothing. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So first we go to midfield. Doesn't really matter the stats and stuff. They can do a 16 race calendar is what I typically do for simulations, and I also don't select Austria, Imola, or Brazil because it has sprint races, and I don't really feel like simulating the whole weekend for sprint races. So now one of the most important things for me, and just in general in simulations, is settings. And the most important thing in settings, besides like your AI difficulty, unless you're simulating because AI difficulty doesn't matter, is the career settings. And this is what I do for simulation. So for driver moves, I turn it off and then I turn it back on. I've noticed that for some reason changes how it's some transfers work. Departing frequency, I just turn it on off. You can keep it on if you want, but I just turn it on off because I really don't care about those. These go straight to automatic, so yeah, that's you want the basically the game itself to do all of the simulating for you. You don't have to manage R&D, you don't have to manage facility management. And one thing I like about this year's game is that the first thing they don't actually do in R&D is durability, because last year the first thing the AI always decided to go for was durability, so then your car would suck for the first couple seasons. Now, the most important thing is, for driver transfers, the most important thing is the acclaim setting. And if you want absolutely insane driver transfers, you put everything basically on reduced. Like literally every setting you can put on reduced, you get some crazy driver transfers. I could even show you. I'll do at the end of this video one full simulation season. I'll speed it up and all that, so you guys basically can see that I didn't tamper with anything, I didn't touch anything, I just simulated basically, and you'll get some crazy driver transfers. But for the sake of this video, I'm gonna mess up a few of these stats, or a few of these. So basically team and stuff, team acclaim and AI is different. Acclaim rate for AI, if you put this at, maybe if you put this at increase, and then just say you were to put team acclaim reduced, the teams won't be able to match the drivers acclaim like needs, and then so then some teams might not be able to sign some drivers, or drivers will leave teams and join some teams in the back of the grid. But just for the sake of this video, I'm going to put it on reduced because I do know that you do get really good driver transfers with reduced. And even on the contrary, if you want teams to just get some good drivers, you can increase the team AI acclaim rate, and then if you have the driver acclaim rate at reduced, then those teams won't be able to sign the driver, or the teams won't want the driver because their acclaim is very low. I hope you guys are understanding this. It's not very complicated, but just for the sake of this, I'm just gonna put this at increase just to see what happens. I've never used this stat before. Also for simulations, I just throw everything on high just because why the heck not. For weekend structure, I just put everything on max. It's not like I'm going to be racing in them anyway. Weather time of day, I just throw it in approximate just for fun. And assist, I have no assists. Simulation settings, I don't think you need to change anything here. No, you really don't need to unless you're actually racing. Let's confirm the settings. So yeah, we'll just confirm those settings. And now this is how you get basically a like legacy driver like Jensen Button or something. So like I said before, we had that extra 5 million because we selected midfield team.
First. Let's create your driver.
Let's create a driver, so let's just skip that. I do have my Coca-Cola mod on right now, so yeah, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to select a big sponsor just so I can sign a good driver. We can select any power unit we want, and they actually did change the power unit stats and stuff. Yeah. So just for the sake of this, I'm going to select the cheapest power unit so I can select a good legacy driver. So as you see, with that initial midfield challenger cash, we have an extra $5 million, so that means we have $6.9 million to actually go and use to sign a driver. Typically, I mean, we did select the best sponsor and we did select the cheapest engine, so this is probably like one of the most amount of money you can get in the game. Besides the fact, if you select like a I guess, championship contender team. So let's see what drivers we can select here. So basically, if you did select championship contender, you'd be able to sign one of these three like top tier drivers: Alan Prost, Ayrton Senna, and Michael Schumacher. We only have 6.9 million, so we're gonna sign. Who's a good driver? I believe they took Nico Rosberg out of this, actually, which kind of sucks. You know what? I'm just going to go with Jacques Villeneuve because I am Canadian and he's Canadian champion.
Power unit supplier and teammate. Go ahead and confirm if you're happy.
So once you do that, you have an extra $1.9 million to spend on facilities and stuff, but the game will be using that money its own way or however the heck it wants to use it because we selected it to be automatic, if you remember. And now for simulations, what I do, I just skip all of this stuff because I don't care. I just start spamming random buttons so every team starts off on different numbers, basically. I'm not even looking at my screen right now. I'm sure you can tell because my mic's probably really quiet. I literally just select random ones. There you go. And I just do that so every team starts differently. I literally don't even know what I select because I don't even watch what I select, so that's pretty cool.
Thank you for today.
I wish I can skip Robux and even more. Alright, now we are at the fun part. So the first thing I do when I get into a simulation is go to this corporate tab once you are a midfield team, because you start off as a claim level 5, and I select sponsors. This is very important for getting money in the game, and basically you're going to want money or else your team's not going to be able to upgrade facilities and stuff. So the first sponsor I always try to sign, I don't think it's here. Where is it? I always try to sign, where is it? Okay, it is this one because it's just complete race with no DNFs. There's other ones like Sunburst that says just complete a clean weekend. Basically, since you're not driving, you're going to want to select those ones as like your sponsor because the simulation, when you simulate, you're not going to get any overtake. Well, you are going to get overtakes, but you're not overtaking on track, so you won't get those like stats and stuff. And maybe you can select like P10, P15 finishes. Those work. But I go for these very basic ones like completer rates and no DNFs, just so you can pretty much guarantee you get money unless your team actually just DNFs, which happens from time to time. Then I only do this once a season. I select the training camp, doesn't matter which one. And oh no, I don't select the training camp first. I select like one of the chassis ones, and then after that I select training camp. I only do this in the preseason. You don't have to if you don't want to, but other than that, let's get right into the race weekend. So now once you get to the race weekend, you can see that there has been a little bit of development going through. I didn't do this myself. This is the team just doing it, and you can see they put an engine upgrade and a chassis upgrade already. I don't believe they upgraded any facilities. Now they didn't, just that was from the interview and stuff. And now let's get on to the race weekend here. So for season 1, this only applies in season 1. You do have to go into the first practice session, and then after that you can just simulate the rest of the time. So the first thing I do, basically, because I don't want to go on track or anything, is just retire from the session. That's all you have to do, and then you can see maybe how solid your car is to start. And look at that, Jacques Villeneuve, P8, not bad at all. Now, this is the fun part here, guys. This is where we start simulating. So what you're going to want to do, how to simulate, is go all the way to the race. You'll see on the bottom here, it only applies for the race tab. It says F1, skip to and simulate. It's F1 because it's on I'm using a keyboard for this video. If you're using a wheel or a controller, it's going to be another button. Basically, you're going to want to click F1, click yes, another prompt will come up, you click yes again, and then you simulated the entire weekend. It's very simple, like I said, and I don't know why a lot of people are asking how to do this because it's very easy, but yeah, you just keep skipping, and you basically just do that, rinse and repeat every single race weekend. And yeah, it's very easy, guys. It's very easy. And there's one more thing I do want to show you about how to skip those little timed events and stuff. I'm sure you have skipped them because they're very boring and nobody really cares about them. Those supercar things are not very important. And there you go, look at that. You skipped to the race already. Charles Leclerc ended up winning. Jacques Villeneuve, Canadian over here, gets actually pretty good result in our first race. And yeah, my default player didn't do that good. No surprise, but I will show you guys how to make the default player actually pretty solid and about like the level of a Jensen Button, his legacy character, which is pretty cool. So yeah, we're gonna get into the next race weekend, and I will show you guys how to get your like owner driver or whatever to do a little bit better in simulations and stuff. So if you want to get your owner driver better, you're going to go into the corporate tab, you go to contracts, you hit F2 for driver perks, and one thing that makes your driver better is acclaim. So you're going to want to just buy all the acclaim things as you possibly can. These don't really matter because you won't be getting any R&D from your guy anyway. Engine wear you could do, but basically just upgrade the acclaim as much as you can and your driver will be a little bit better. Now we also have a Pirelli hot lap here. This is kind of important. You could do this if you want, or you can just skip in advance, which I do for every single one. And yeah, so now we're going to get on to the end of the season, and I'll show you guys what type of driver transfers that we had. Okay, so now we're at the end of the season. Just for fun, let's take a look at the standings. As, yeah, it looks like Max Verstappen actually won the championship for Season 1. He did actually pretty good. Leclerc only had 3 wins and then just was consistent the rest of the year. Mercedes had a later charge midway through the season. Surprisingly, once again, there was no mid-season driver transfers, but it was still quite interesting. Bottas absolutely carried Alfa Romeo. You can see that Jacques Villeneuve was actually better than the created driver. Once again, if you do want to increase his stats, click F2, and once he gets to claim level 8, you'll be able to upgrade those, and he will get a little bit better, or he or she. And now, basically, what you're going to want to do is go all the way down to the contract renewal area. I'm just going to re-sign Jack again, just for the sake of this video. I just want to show you that there actually are driver transfers that do happen, even if you do not change your driver, which happens a lot in my simulations and stuff. I do like to change up the acclaim settings for almost every simulation, because I don't want them all to be the same, basically. But yeah, there's some simulations where you get more transfers, some where you get others, and I believe there is a retirement. Looks like Alonso's going to retire, so there will at least be one. Usually Vettel, Alonso, Hamilton, sometimes Bottas all retire around the same time. There are a few weird transfers, like
completed without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
Like Carlos Sainz and Verstappen, Yuki Tsunoda, George Russell, they always retire usually season 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is weird because they're all young drivers, so it's kind of strange. And I hardly ever see Perez retire, so there's some things that could be fixed in the game, obviously. Obviously, it's a game, so what do you expect? But yeah, some things are weird, but it is cool seeing some transfers and stuff. So now we're going to get into the season here, and we're going to see how basically everything did. Let's check the R&D progress last year. R&D was pretty cool last year. Apparently, our team moved up a lot, and that's because our teammate was Jacques Villeneuve. He has a lot of experience, so he's going to give more R&D points. And yeah, it looks pretty cool so far. If you go into Season 2, looks like Ferrari actually nailed the regulation change. We fell down quite a little bit. Most teams did pretty solid as well. Now let's get into the transfers just to see if there really was any solid ones here. I'm not going to look. Let's take a peek. We got Bottas, Zhou, Gasly, Tsunoda. Carlos Sainz has moved to Alpine to replace Fernando Alonso. Ooh, that moves George Russell to Ferrari. That's actually a spicy driver lineup right there. George Russell and Charles Leclerc. Got Magnussen, Schumacher, Ricardo Norris. Hamilton's gonna be partnered alongside Robert Schwartzman. Pretty solid. Verstappen is with Perez. Albon is with Latifi. Usually there are more driver transfers. It really depends on the acclaim settings, like I said, that you choose. Basically by like season 4 or 5, like half of these guys make it into F1 anyway. And then once you keep going, you're basically gonna have like half of the grid just Formula or F2 drivers, which is pretty cool. So guys, I hope you did enjoy this video, and I hope it did show you that driver transfers are possible. Hope I did show you how to simulate the Formula 1 game, because I've been getting a lot of comments on people asking, how do I do this? And I think a lot of people get messed up on that first Bahrain race weekend, because you can't skip the first weekend unless you go into the actual like first practice session and retire, and then you can skip from then on. A few things I do want to say. When you do simulate, driver focus is basically always going to be low. No one's really ever going to be in the green unless they were a free agent the year before, like Robert Schwartzman was. And with that being said, guys, if you did enjoy, hit the like button, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.